Hey everybody, Brian Kaiser here. Wanted to do this quick little video. Um, I wanted to share my Lyme disease story. I know that there is a super large community on both Facebook and YouTube of people who have had similar struggles as I with chronic Lyme disease, and myself included, really enjoy seeing other people's testimony videos and see how far people have come and what they've done with nutrition and medicine and herbals and things like that to recover. So I want to do this video, and I know that probably a lot of people that will see this will be outside of my normal church page, and so if you happen to be one of those people, welcome. My name is Brian, and I'm a pastor in Front Royal, Virginia, and been pastoring here started ministry here about 4 years ago, and pastored another church in Roanoke for about a year and a half, 2 years, in my early 20s. And so basically I was infected with Lyme disease for sure when I was 21 years old. I'm 28 now. And I came down with extreme headaches about 4 years later. I'm sorry, 2 years later. So I was 21, I was 23, 24 when I got extremely ill. I think that was around 2016. I'm really bad with dates, as you can tell. And I started getting these extreme headaches. And headaches that just made you want to die. I mean, just extreme pain. And it was 24/7. It really started with just like pain, like right here. It just felt like you were, pushing my forehead really hard. And then I would like get actual headaches throughout the day. But this pain, this pressure, just throughout a month, 2 months, it went from just like right here to like basically my entire head. It just felt like my head was like in a vice. And oddly enough, the only way that I could function is if I didn't have a hat on. If I had a hat on. I had these just crazy headaches, and it started where it actually felt like there was like a knife, like in the top of my head, and eye pain, vision loss, testicular pain. Pain like, I won't get into all the details of that, but pain like you can't imagine. Some joint pain, some muscle pain, a lot of muscle weakness in my arms. It just felt like I didn't have like full control of my arms. I would shake a lot and sometimes kind of twitch. It was almost like I had Parkinson's disease and dementia. The worst part, other than the pain, well, two really bad things. Okay, it's been a while, so I'm going to get to my current stories where I'm headed. I wasn't really planning on sharing much of the first part. So, the mental memory symptoms were probably one of the worst things. I couldn't remember anything. I know this sounds crazy, but at 24 years old, it's like I couldn't remember my mom's name. You could ask me, I used to have very sharp memory. I'm an avid reader. I read 2 to 4 books a week. I've always had a very good memory, but in 2016, it was like I'd had a stroke or something. I had no memory. It was even like parts of my childhood I couldn't remember, oddly enough. I couldn't remember simple tasks like how to drive home sometimes. Or like I would be driving and I'd just be like, where am I going? Like I wouldn't even remember like why I was doing what I was doing or where I was going. It was crazy. I mean, it's like I was a shell of who I was. I was doing missions work at the time, and I was traveling. I had a TV show. I was, very social. I was, in LA, New York, and, really living a pretty exciting life to me. And it was like it's like I lost part of my personality. It's like I was like disassociated from who I originally, was. It was very strange. And Long story short, I didn't even mean to get into all that. Long story short, saw a herbal medicine doctor. Of course, if you have chronic Lyme, you know what I'm about to say. Had a negative test, and I went to all the specialists and neurologists and infectious disease doctors, and everybody just thought I was crazy. But I mean, it's like the pain that I was in. I mean, it's almost like I wanted to die. I mean, the pain was just so unreal. It's like I could feel things moving around in my brain, and it was really, sorry, there's an ant getting on me. Hopefully it's not a tick. The pain was just was crazy. These headaches that I was getting, and so anyway, after 3 months of just grueling pain and it just mental torment with not being able to remember anything, and I would stutter a lot was another thing I would do, and I had a lot of pain and pressure all through my face and in my teeth. Anyway, I get on this herbal concoction of a few different herbs, and you can private message me if you'd be interested in hearing what I did. This is not medical advice, but if you'd be interested in just hearing what I did and what worked for me. I slowly, over 2 years, went from I think I could die any minute to I'm here, I'm alive. And I slowly got better. And then this past summer, I was really at my best. I was hiking again. And another weird symptom I got is that I couldn't handle altitude change. If I went through any altitude change whatsoever, whether that was going up a mountain too steep, too quick, or flying, I could not fly, still can't, or going in a tunnel, my body would freak out. It would feel like I was going to have a heart attack. Oh, that was the other thing. My heart symptoms were extremely bad. Racing heart, I would have 150 heart palpitations a day. I'd wake up in the middle of the night, feel like my heart had stopped. I would have to hit my chest to get it going in, or at least that's the way it would feel. I don't know if that's really what's going on, but that's the way it felt. Yeah, really crazy stuff. So anyway, I was doing a lot better. And I was hiking this summer. I was kayaking, pastoring my church. I was traveling some, living a very productive life. I was doing really well. And all of a sudden, this is what I really want to get in my story this time. This part's going to be way more detailed and extensive. All of a sudden, I started having trouble swallowing. And it's hard to describe if you've never had this, but it just felt like my swallowing muscles were paralyzed. And around the same time, I started getting, and I've never really had acid reflux. I had a little bit when I was a kid, of course, but I started noticing that food would come back up. This was August of 2020. I would eat something and I would, feel it go down, and then I would feel it come back up, and I started having really bad pain during this time, and it was just very strange, and the pain was just really bad. I mean, literally just drinking a cup of water in the morning would just felt like I was swallowing burning hot needles. I mean, it was like burning and also, like a cutting type pain. I mean, down in my chest. And so, along about the same time, I'm just trying to remember everything chronologically accurate. So around the same time, I started getting extreme weakness in my arms and my legs, and I was juicing all the time at this time. So it got so bad that I had asked my parents to juice. I mean, my hands, it's like I was like, so weak. I would try, even texting or juicing, that I could barely use my hands and could barely do anything for myself. And so that was pretty concerning. My arms and my legs all at the same time started getting really, really weak. My feet, it just felt like I couldn't stand up on my own. Started getting really dizzy, extreme dizziness, all the time, to the point that I couldn't drive any longer. And it all went from, hiking 8 miles a day to that, where I couldn't drive, could barely walk on my own, all that within less than a month. I mean, this was like a really fast deterioration. And I noticed a lot of my lymph nodes in my chest seemed slightly swollen. I started getting extreme rib pain, all throughout my ribs, just everywhere, through my chest, my spine. I started getting, my ribs would pop and my spine would, pop at any little movement. And then the other big symptom at this point was my breathing. It's gonna sound crazy to people, but like it just felt like I wasn't breathing. Like I was just fighting to stay alive 24/7. I was sleeping like an hour a night because I absolutely just could not get a deep breath. And now I can, but like it was like a fight to just like get a full breath of air. And it was awful. And also my throat was extremely swollen. It hurt. And I was getting a lot of flu-like symptoms. Well, things started getting a lot worse. My heart started going into AFib and skipping beats, going into 150, 160, 170 beats a minute. My heart rate just started like freaking out. My blood pressure would dramatically spike, really high. I don't remember exactly how high, but really dangerously like stroke level high. And then it would plummet also. And so we knew something was dramatically wrong. And so I was convinced that I maybe had cancer or something really intense like that, as I'm losing feeling in my legs. I couldn't flex. I went into a wheelchair around this time, and I was unable to flex my arms or my legs a lot of times. My calves I couldn't flex at all. I could not move them. At this point I was only able to get up and go to the bathroom. That was it. And I was barely, the amount of effort and focus that it took for me to even be able to do that was just unreal. So, to not make the story too long, I went to dozens of doctors, of course. They did all kinds of body scans and, CT scans and MRIs and contrast and x-rays and blood tests. And I got jabbed, no exaggeration, like 40 times. I would shake. I had seizures. The pain was, I can't emphasize to you enough how bad the pain was. The pain was just unlike anything most people can possibly imagine. I still feel slightly traumatized by it because it was so bad. The pain in my spine, the headaches that I had, oh my Lord, the headaches were just unreal. I felt like I was losing my mind. I developed an extreme case of ADHD, where I couldn't read hardly at all. Well, I didn't read at all. I tried, but I couldn't. My memory got worse. My focus got worse. I was constantly just shaking, and I couldn't help it. The pain in my legs, my knees, my actual muscles. You hear a lot of people talk about joint pain with Lyme disease. Well, mine was definitely joints, but it was also my muscles. My muscles in my inner thighs and my calves, my shins, my feet, my knees was just unreal. Literally, I'm 6'5". I'm pretty tough. Like, I've just didn't grow up a sissy, and I would literally cry like all day long because the pain was just so unreal. It's kind of a more intimate detail, but hopefully this, I know with Lyme there's a lot of people that have symptoms that they've never heard anyone else having, and it's kind of the scary thing. Well, maybe this will help someone, but one of my worst symptoms is I had extreme rectal pain. Never read about that anywhere else or heard about it, but I'll just leave it at that. The pain that I had down in that area would have brought most people to their knees. I mean, it was bad, like really bad. Um, I was losing control in that area also. Kind of embarrassing, but true. Um, Dental pain. I'm just thinking like head to toe, like describing everything because, again, I want to encourage Lyme patients that they can overcome. Yeah, I mean, head to toe. I mean, literally my feet, my calves, all throughout my legs. I could not move my legs hardly. The level of weakness and paralyzation that I had was just really crazy. Oh, here's what I'm forgetting. I went through like a month span where I was almost completely numb in a large portion of my body, like neck below. Like if you would have touched my knee or my leg, I probably wouldn't have felt. So I was probably like 85-90% numb at different points, and it kind of waxed and waned. Some days it wasn't as bad, but neck below, I mean, it was like my body was like really numb. Also, I had a couple of weeks at a time where I would have extreme burning in my muscles. Like it would feel like there was like burning lava, like in my muscles. Like I'll never forget one night I was like really desperate and I was laying on my floor praying and just asking God to help me. And I all of a sudden just started feeling this like intense burning in my spine actually, and it then spread to my entire back, and it literally felt like someone took a cast iron skillet and just placed it on my spine. I mean, it hurt just so bad. It was crazy. It was like I said, pretty rough. What else? So yeah, stomach pain. My stomach would hurt really bad. Digestive issues. Yeah, the rib pain was just awful. Like it just was crazy. Oh, the rib pain was so bad. I mean, my doctor asked me to describe what it felt like. I said it felt like Mike Tyson bare knuckle boxed my ribs for an hour. Like it just hurt like so bad. My arms and my hands would hurt really bad. Weirdly, my thumb, and especially my thumb, but my fingers, they feel more flexible. Like when this all started, like, I don't know how to describe that, but almost like, I don't know, like obviously there's something restraining this finger from, bending further down. Well, it was almost like everything just got so loose, but not in a good way that, you could have just like bent my thumb right off or something. It's very weird. A lot of Lyme stuff is very hard to describe. It's very strange the way that it feels. Yeah, the spine pain, the lower back pain. Oh man, just to roll over in bed, the pain was just awful. I mean, literally, like I would have to get my parents or one of my friends to literally like roll me over in bed because one, I was so weak, and two, the pain was so bad. And the only relief I could get, my parents we bought this like electric massager, and I would literally just be laying in bed just like groaning in pain, and they would sit in the bed with me for hours at a time. I mean, it's embarrassing, but it's true. And just rub my back because it's the only relief that I could possibly get from the pain. It was that intense. It was that bad. And so, yeah, what else? Pain. Yeah, the pain all through here. My teeth. Oh man, my teeth would hurt so bad. I was convinced that I had cavities and had like an infection in my teeth or something, because the pain in my teeth and my gums, my jaw was so intense. It was awful. Jaw pain, ear pain. I felt like I had like a ear infection almost the entire time. The throat pain. That's another thing. I lost my voice for almost 2 months completely. Couldn't talk. I had to do everything through voice, text to voice app. Those apps. What else? Oh, this is a big one. The neck weakness. That was really bad. Those wheelchairs where, and I don't mean to make fun of anyone or anything that has went through this, but those wheelchairs where your next week, people with like, I guess, cerebral palsy, and you just, have your head, kind of, held up. I mean, I felt like I needed that because my neck just was like so weak that it just wouldn't support, or my neck wouldn't support my head to be held up. And the dream, I would have horrible dreams. Like it was like I wasn't sleeping. Even when I started sleeping a little bit better, it's like I wasn't sleeping. It felt like I was just like watching a movie all night long of these, terrible dreams. Very realistic, like unlike anything I'd ever experienced. Is very weird. What else? I couldn't breathe through my nose most of the time. It was so closed up and swollen inside. Headaches. And anyway, what I wanted to get to, so I can't emphasize enough, like every single night I didn't think I would wake up. Every single night I did not. I got to get it. Like I did not think I was going to survive. The pain, the dysfunction of my muscles, the weakness, it just felt like I was going to pass away any second. And it's a pretty scary thought when you're 28 years old and happy and healthy and loving your life and, doing well. And anyway, it's a long story, but through a couple of friends, I found a doctor in Northern Virginia named Dr. Samuel Shore. This isn't a plug for him, it's just my story. Went to go see him, and he's a Lyme doctor. And because at this point, like, the only last option was like maybe some rare form of ALS, Lou Gehrig's disease, because MS, all my scans were clear, I did have cancer. At this point, it was either Lyme or it was ALS, and I had a couple of weeks to live. And I went to UVA, I went to DC, Maryland, all kinds of doctors and hospitals all over Virginia. 10 ER trips, collapsed in the hospital one night. I mean, I've been every kind of doctor you could imagine. Multiple doctors at UVA, and nothing was working. So I went to see the Lyme specialist, and he says, "Brian, it's Lyme." And so started on antibiotics, and started on 2 antibiotics, and I'm now up to 4. And within 3 weeks, I was out of the wheelchair. I hadn't walked outside of a wheelchair in 4 months, I think, and got out of the wheelchair. It was a powerful day. And that was in late February, I believe, and it's now June, and I am doing pretty amazing. I have to be really careful with what I eat. If I eat bad, specific gluten, I can have some relapsing symptoms. But overall, I'm doing really well. I'm, walking and not quite up to hiking yet, but I'm walking, 30 minutes to an hour a day, and doing really well. I feel strong. I'm, lifting weights. I'm living a very productive life, and doing really well. So I just encourage you, if you're a Lyme patient, you can make it. It's some of my viewers here, they're watching because they're used to me sharing biblical stuff, or gonna maybe not even know about Lyme. But if you're a Lyme person, you've been searching out online, you got to know you can make it. I know it's cliche, but let me tell you, more than maybe anybody I've ever seen online, I can tell you can make it. If I could survive, you can survive. I was a goner. I thought I literally told people goodbye. I many times thought that I was dying in that moment, because I would like be passing out, my heart would be stopping, life would be slowing down. I feel like I was going up. Really, I can't emphasize enough how close I was to dying 20, 30 times. It was that intense. It was that crazy. I mean, I was like in a vegetative state. I really was. It was crazy. And so, if I can make it, you can make it. A couple other things. Antibiotics wise, as far as on antibiotics, I also have Babesia. If you're familiar with that, it's pretty much the American version of malaria. It's a tick-borne blood parasite, as I understand it. I also started on Byron White ABAB and Byron White AL complex. Those are, if you don't know, those are herbal supplements. I started taking NAC and alpha lipoic acid and glutathione to